Hello guys, welcome to the exam rat. So let's just start with the new lesson, but for more such videos before that check our website and do subscribe. Link is in the description given below. So let's just start with our second unit, algebraic expressions, and the chapter number 2, polynomials. So in today's class we'll discuss some important terms about the polynomials and also about some relevant numericals about the polynomials. So our first question is like, what is algebraic expression? What is algebraic expression? Basically, algebraic expression. So let's just show you that what is algebraic expression. Algebraic expression is basically a mathematical phrase combining numbers and variables. So what does that exactly means? Basically, algebraic expression is any expression that consists of a constant and a variable. So now the question is, what is the constant and what is variable? So let's just start with the constant and variable. Let's say constant is any term. For example, 1, 2, 3, any number. We can say it as a constant. Okay. And now the variables. Let's just start with the variable. What is a variable actually? Variable can be x, y, z, any term which corresponds with the constant. They are known as the variable. So algebraic expression is basically constant multiplied by the variable. So let's just take an example of an algebraic expression. For example, we can have a constant like 5. We can have a variable like x. So this is an algebraic expression. This is known as an algebraic expression. For example, you can just see and have a look at this picture only. There is a 3 mentioned here. The 3 is a constant term. 8 is the constant term. This x plus y, this is a variable term. This y is a variable term. So this is what we called as a constant and a variable in case of a algebraic expression. So let's just now move forward about what is polynomial. So like, what is polynomial? Polynomial is basically, first we have to study about like what is polynomials. So polynomial, poly means many and nomial means terms. As we can see, polynomial consists of many terms. Like I have told you that algebraic expression is something in which there is a constant and there is a variable. But in case of polynomials, there are many constant and there are many variables. So for example, we can say 5x square plus 6y plus 3. So this is a polynomial term. This is what we called as a polynomial. So let's just have a look on this example. If we consider the example like 2x square, we consider an example like 2x square plus 2. So in this term, I already told you that this x, y, z, t, all this represent a variable. So this x square, this will be the variable in this particular polynomial expression. It is a variable. Okay, then it has a degree of polynomial 2. The degree or the power of the x is 2. Okay, then we called the term 2 is called the constant. This is the constant term which has a no variable with it. So this whole term is known as the polynomial. This is what we called as a polynomial. Now let's just look at some more basic terms in the polynomial which we have to study. So first is the type of polynomial. Types of polynomial. Basically, for your syllabus there are 4 types of polynomial. Zero polynomial, which is also known as constant polynomial. We can also call it as a constant polynomial. Then there is a linear polynomial, then there is a quadratic polynomial, and then there is a cubic polynomial. So what is the basic difference between these type of polynomials? Basically, as the name suggests, in case of zero polynomial, we can also call it as constant polynomial. So in the zero polynomial, there is no variable. There is no variable present. only constant term is there. Okay, for example 2, 3, 5, these are the constant terms without any variable x. So this is what we called as the zero polynomial. Then we can have a look on linear polynomial. As the name suggests, linear polynomial, in the case of linear polynomial, the highest power or the highest degree of the given variable is only 1. So this is the linear polynomial in which the highest degree of the variable is 1. Okay, let's just have a look on this, that variable can be y, z, t, anything. Any alphabet can be a variable. If we are considering x as a variable, it doesn't mean that only x is considered as the variable. Variable can be a, b, c and so on. It can be any alphabet. So quadratic polynomial, as the name suggests, in the case of quadratic polynomial, the highest degree of the variable is 2. For example, you can just have a look on this, that we can take 2x square plus 5 as an example for quadratic polynomial. In case of linear polynomial, you just can have a look, like we can say x plus 5 is the linear polynomial. Then cubic polynomial, as the name suggests, the highest degree is 3. So example is x cube plus 9 can be the example for the cubic polynomial. Cubic polynomial just means that the degree of the x, the highest degree of the x should be 3. This is what we called as a cubic polynomial. Now, introduction to polynomials. So let's just have a look on this too. So polynomials can be monomials, binomials and trinomials. Okay, so in the case of monomials, only one term is present here. Like you can see 5x, there is no term which is added or subtracted with this 5x. That is why it is known as a monomial, because only one term is present here. If we add something in this 5x, for example, if we add 5, if we say 5x plus 3, then it will be considered as binomial, as the two terms, they will be added with each other, so they will form binomial. When the three terms are added with each other, they are known as the trinomial. Let's just have a look on the examples. Example of monomial can be x itself. Then example for the binomial can be x plus 1. Okay. Example for the trinomial can be x square plus 2x plus 1. So this is what we are trying to say, that this is a monomial term in which only one term is there. This is a binomial in which two terms are there, and this is a trinomial in which three terms are there. Okay, so let's just look forward to our next slide. So our next slide is the degree of the polynomial. It is very important topic for the today's class. So let's just note it down. What is degree of polynomial? Very important for you guys. Like, degree of polynomial, as the picture suggests, it is the largest term, it is the largest power, it is the highest power of the variable in an expression. Like for an example, I am taking an expression like x raised to the power 5 plus 2x raised to the power 4 plus 3x raised to the power 3 plus x square plus 2. So in this case, as you can see, that there are many powers of x. For example, you can see here x has also raised to the power 4, x has also the raised to the power 5, x is also the power 3, x is also the power 2. So basically, in this kind of a polynomial, the degree of polynomial will be the highest power of the x. That will be 5. As you can see, the highest power for the x here in this equation is 5. That is why the degree of polynomial in this equation is 5. Okay, now let's just look at this too. as I have already taught you in the previous slide that what is constant or zero polynomial, what is a linear polynomial, what is a quadratic polynomial, and what is a cubic polynomial. So let's just have a look on the degree of polynomial in all the four cases. So the first is a constant. So in the case of zero polynomial, when we talk about the zero polynomial, I told you that in the case of zero polynomial, no variable is present, only constant is there. No variable is present, only constant is there. So in that case, x has no value, x has no power, because the x is not present. That is why the degree of polynomial in this case is 0. Okay. Now let's have an example of linear polynomial. Let's just take an example for linear polynomial. In the case of linear polynomial, let's take an example like x plus 7. So in this case, the highest value of x is 1. That is why the degree of this polynomial is 1. In the case of quadratic, as I have already told you, that quadratic polynomial is itself a polynomial in which the highest power of x is 2. That is why quadratic polynomial can be somewhat written like this. So in this case, the highest degree of x is 2. That is why the degree of this quadratic polynomial is also 2. Now let's have a look on the cubic one. So in the case of cubic, I have told you that the highest power of the x in the case of cubic is 3. So equation will be like this. So in this case, the highest power of x, as you can see, is 3. That is why the degree of polynomial is 3. So basically what we have learnt is that degree of the polynomial is the highest power of the variable. It is basically in a particular equation, whatever will be the highest power, that will be the degree of polynomial in that particular expression. Okay. Now let's just move forward on the next topic, very important topic from this chapter, that is the zeros of polynomial. Now the zeros of polynomial, what do you mean by the zero of polynomial? What does it exactly means? Okay, so zero of polynomial, it is defined as any value. It is defined as any value of the x for which the whole polynomial's value becomes 0. So let's just repeat the definition. It is basically any value, any constant value of the x for which the value of the whole polynomial becomes 0. So I've also written here that zeros of polynomials are basically the constant terms which on putting in an equation gives 0. So let's just have an example. For example, we are taking an equation like x square minus 3x plus 2. So we can the zeros of polynomial for this equation will be those value of x which will give 0. So basically x square minus 3x plus 2 must be equal to 0 to know the zeros of polynomial. Okay, so let's just put a value. For example, I am taking x is equal to 1. So let's put 1 square minus 3 multiplied by 1 plus 2. Let's just solve this and you will get a 0. It means for this particular equation, 1 is basically the zero of polynomial. जो 1 है, it is the zero of polynomial for this particular equation. This is what we called as a zero of polynomial. Let's just have a graphical representation of this zero of polynomial. Okay, so graphical representation is like this. So basically there is an equation which is mentioned above, as you all can see. I'll just write it down. It is x cube plus 2x square minus 5x minus 6. So this is the particular equation. So basically the equation's value must be 0 for putting any value of x. So let's just see where this graph intersects at the x-axis. So as you can see, the graph is intersecting here at -3 point. The graph is intersecting here at -1 point. The graph is intersecting at 2 point. So basically let's just try to confirm that whether these are the zeros of this equation or not. So let's just put 2 in this particular equation. If we put the 2 in this equation, we'll get 2 whole cube plus 2 multiplied by 2 whole square minus 5 multiplied by 2 minus 6. So we'll get 8 plus 8 minus 16. So we'll get a 0. Hence the graphical representation is completely proved. As we can see that after putting this 2 value in equation, we'll get a 0. Hence the 2 is the 0 of polynomial for this particular equation. Okay. So let's just now move forward with some more definitions of the 0 of polynomial. So let's have a look on this example. Zeros of polynomial, they are basically, for example, if we are taking an equation like ax plus b is equal to 0, okay, then I have already told you that in case of find out the 0 of polynomial, what we have to do is we have to just put the equation equal to 0 and then we have to find the particular value of the x. Whatever will be the value of x, that will be the corresponding 0 of polynomial for that particular equation. So our equation is ax plus b is equal to 0. So ax is equal to minus b. If we are taking this b on the another side of the equation, x will be equal to minus b by a, because it is in multiplication and after transferring there it can be getting into the dividing. Then x will be equal to minus b by a. So whatever will be the value of the x will be the 0 of polynomial. Hence in this case x is minus b by a. That is a 0 of polynomial for the equation ax plus b. For this equation the value of x will be minus b by a and it is also the 0 of the polynomial. Let's just have a look on the example. If we are taking an equation 3x square minus 2x minus 1. So by putting x equal to 1, we are getting 3 1 square minus 2 into 1 minus 1. So it will give a 0. It means that 1 is the 0 of polynomial for this particular equation. Okay. So there is another question. The question is, if px is equal to x minus 3, then what will be the 0 of the polynomial? So when you have to find out the 0 of polynomial, the simple step is just put the equation equal to 0 and whatever will be the value of the x will give you the 0 of the polynomial. So in this case the value of x is 3, so 3 is the 0 of polynomial. Okay, let's just now move forward. So our next slide is the questions for the zeros of the polynomial. So let's just solve these problems so that you can have a better guidance for these problems. So let's just have a look on them. First question is, find the 0 of polynomial for 2x plus 1. So guys, what we have to do is we just have to put this equation is equal to 0 and whatever will be the value of x will give you the 0 of polynomial. So let's just solve it like the normal equation you used to solve in your earlier classes. You just have to solve it like that. So x is equal to minus 1 by 2. So minus 1 by 2 is the 0 of the polynomial. So this is the solution for this particular problem. Now let's just get back to the another question, and you can also get these type of questions too. If px is equal to x square minus 2 root x plus 1. So the equation given is x square minus 2 root 2 x plus 1. Then what will be the value of p2 root 2? So what this question actually means is you just have to put x equal to 2 root 2. Okay, so put x equal to 2 root 2. So we'll cancel out this and the answer is 1. So you just have to find out the value. So answer B is correct in this case. Okay, let's just move to the another NCERT example. So verify whether 2 and 0 are the zeros of polynomial x square minus 2x. Now we have to just verify that whether the 2 and zeros are the polynomial, zeros of the polynomial. So basically, if we have to verify 2 and 0, we just have to put 2 in this equation in place of the x, like this only. You will get a 0. It means yes, 2 is the polynomial, 0 of the polynomial. And if we are putting 0 here, then also the answer is 0. So yes, the answer will be yes. The 2 and 0 are the zeros of polynomial. So these are the problems on the zeros of polynomial. These include very basic questions. You all can solve very easily. In case of any doubts and queries, you can just comment below and we'll get back to you. So our next topic for the chapter polynomial is the remainder theorem. So basically, what is remainder theorem? Basically, when we perform a division, we generally perform it by a long division method. But in the case of remainder theorem, we just solve a question and find out the remainder and the zeros of the polynomial without doing actually the long division. This is what we called as a remainder theorem. Okay, so basically, before getting back to the remainder theorem, let's just start with the long division method. Let's just solve some problems from the long division method. For example, we have x square minus 3x minus 10 divided by x plus 2. So let's just solve this. Okay, x square minus 3x minus 10 by x plus 2. So let's just solve on the another sheet. So first of all, we'll discuss the steps to carry out the long division. Then we'll take an example and we'll carry out this long division process. So let's just have a look on these steps. So basically, they have taken an example in which they are dividing 3x square plus x minus 1 with the x plus 1 as the divisor. So first of all, the first step is to arrange. Always arrange the dividend and the divisor with the highest degree at first, followed by the lower degrees. So what that statement actually means? Okay, so what that statement actually means is, for example, if we are given with the terms like x raised to the power 2 plus 3x cube plus 1, then first of all plus 2x, then first of all what we have to do is to arrange with the highest degree of the x at first and then followed by the lower degrees. So in this case, the highest degree of x is x cube, so let's just put 3x cube first, followed by x square, then we'll put 2x, then we'll put 1. So first step is to arrange, always arrange the divisor and the dividend like this, with the highest degree followed by the lower degrees. Okay, then you just, what you have to just do, you have also learned this long division method in your earlier classes, but let's just revise it. Okay, so first of all, what we have to do is like they have already arranged 3x square plus x minus 1, so they have to divide it by x plus 1. So what they will do, they just have to divide the first term of the dividend by the first term of the divisor. So if we divide 3x square by 1, what we'll get? We'll just get 3x. When we divide 3x square by x, then what we'll get? We'll just get a 3x. Okay, so you just have to write 3x in the quotient and then multiply the subsequent term in the divisor with this 3x and just put it down. Then what we have to do is multiply this term by 3x. So what we'll get is 3x square. Then we'll multiply the subsequent term with this 3x, then we'll again get 3x. So now the elimination method, so you just have to opposite the signs. In the case of subtraction, we just have to change the signs for the lower term. So just change the signs. So 3x square minus 3x square will be cut out a 0. Then x minus 3x will be minus 2x, and the number, it will be as it is came here. So this will be your remainder. This will be your remainder. This will be your question for this term. So minus 2x minus 1 will be treated as the remainder, and it will be a new dividend, and you will just have to divide it. Okay. So now what you have to do is we multiply this divisor by the second term of the question and subtract the product from the dividend. So basically this is the whole process for the carrying out the long division, like 3x square plus x minus 1. Now this will be your new dividend. You just have to express it as a new dividend, and you just have to divide it by this term. So again we'll divide minus 2x by x and we'll get minus 2. So let's just put minus 2 in the question again. Then we'll multiply this subsequent term with this question term. Then we'll get minus 2x minus 2, and we'll just solve it, and we'll get 1 as the remainder. So basically in this particular equation, as we have discussed, 3x minus 2 will be the question, and 1 will be the remainder. So basically this is a very long procedure to carry out the long division. So for this purpose there is a very small equation which help in determining this, and this equation is dividend is equal to divisor multiply quotient plus remainder. So dividend is the term which we put inside division method. The divisor is the term from which we divide something, and quotient is the term which we get after dividing, and the remainder which we get after at the end is the remainder. So in this particular long division, this is the division, this is the dividend term, this is the divisor term, this is the question term, and this is the remainder term. Okay, so let's just look at the another question so that we can carry out the long division and show you how it is carried out. So let's just have a the example of the long division method. I'm just doing it so that you people could easily understand that what long division method is and how is it carried out. So let's just take an example, like we are dividing a term like x cube plus 1 from x plus 1. Okay, so first what we have to do is, it is already arranged as you all can see. So first you have to divide this dividend with this divisor. So we'll get x square after dividing this by this. Then we'll just have to multiply this subsequent term with this question term. What we'll get is x cube plus x square. Now just have to reverse the signs. Okay, then this will be cancelled out. This will be minus x square plus 1. Okay, one more thing to remember is put the for example this is x square, then you just have to put this x square only below the term which has the x square in it. So in the above dividend there is no x square, that is why we are taking it as x square only. It will not be subtracted from 1 and all. Okay, then you just have to divide this x square term with this term. So we'll get minus x, what we'll get will minus x square. Then multiply this subsequent term with this question term will be like minus x, because there is no x in the above dividend, that is why we are putting it here. Then just reverse the signs, we'll get x plus 1. Why we are writing x plus 1? Because in this x plus 1, because I already told you that we just always have to arrange the dividend in which the x having the highest degree must come first, followed by the lower degrees. Then we'll just divide it x by x and we'll get 1. We'll get like this. We'll just have to opposite the signs, and what we'll get is 0. So this is the long division method. Let's just confirm it by this method too. Like we have already said that dividend is equal to divisor multiplied by quotient plus remainder. So let's just see whether it is true or not. This is a confirmation question, so let's just do, like, what is your divisor? Your divisor is x plus 1, your quotient is x square minus x plus 1, and your remainder is 0. Okay, now let's just multiply both of these terms. We'll get x cube plus x square minus x square minus x plus x plus 1. So these terms will be cancelled out and we'll get x cube plus 1. Now let's have a look on our dividend. X cube plus 1 is our only dividend, and we also get x cube plus 1. So this is the method to verify our long division method. So this is the long division method we all have to study, right? Now next will be the example of the remainder theorem. As I have told you about the remainder theorem, I have not given you example. Basically, remainder theorem is something in which we need not to perform any long division. So this is what the remainder theorem means. So how can we solve something if we don't have to actually divide it? For example, this is a very big term and we have to divide it by this. By long division method, it will be a very big procedure. So in the case of remainder theorem, we just don't have to divide it or something. There is a formula. It is nothing like a formula. Just look at the example. What we have to do is, this is the divisor. Okay, you all know this is the dividend and this is the divisor. So what you have to do is put the divisor equal to 0. Put divisor equal to 0. You will get the value of x. You will get the value of x by putting the divisor equal to 0. Then just put the value of the x in the dividend portion and you will just get your remainder. This is the remainder theorem. For example, let's just explain this example. In this case, x minus 2 is the divisor. First step is to put the divisor equal to 0. So put divisor equal to 0, put the divisor equal to 0. So x minus 2 will be equal to 0. So x will be equal to 2. The second step is the get the value of x. So value of the x is equal to 2. So now third step is put the value of x in the dividend. Our dividend is x cube minus 3x square plus x plus 4. So let's just put the value of x. Value of x is 2. Let's just put the value of x. 2 cube minus 3 2 square plus 2 plus 4. What we'll get is 8 minus 2 multiplied by 2 is 4, 3, 12 plus 2 plus 4. Okay, right. So we have to solve this. 4 plus 2, 6 plus 8 is 14 minus 12 and we'll get a 2. So basically we'll get a remainder. So basically the remainder of this particular equation without actually performing the long division is 2. Okay, this is what we have to study in the remainder theorem. It is very easy to calculate the remainder without doing anything. Just put the value of the divisor equal to 0 and just get the value of the x and put that value of x in the dividend to get the remainder. So let's just start with some NCERT questions. So this concept will be get more clear to you people. Okay, so let's just get to the first exercise, okay, from NCERT. So let's just start with it. We'll discuss some questions here and you just have to practice those questions, and in case of any queries or doubt you just have to comment below and we'll get back to you soon. Okay, so the first question is polynomial in one variable. We just have to find out the polynomial in one variable. So basically polynomial in one variable, as I already told you, in case of polynomial in one variable, as the name suggests, only one variable is present. Only one variable, either it is x or it is y or it is t or it is z. only one variable is present. Okay, now let's just take an example. You people have to tell me like x raised to the power 10 plus y raised to the power 3 plus t raised to the power 50. So in this case, is it a polynomial in one variable? You all people have to tell me like this. So basically in this case, as you people see, x is also a variable, y is also a variable, and t is also a variable. So no, this is not a polynomial in one variable. This is how the questions are in this chapter. You just have to solve it like this. These are very easy questions. Okay, so the next question is on the monomial and binomial. As I told you, what is monomial? Monomial is basically having one term only, and the binomial is basically having two terms only. In case of trinomials, we have three terms also. So we'll just have a look on them. So there is a question, for example, 5t minus root 7. So is it a monomial or a binomial? So yes, it is a binomial because the two terms, they are subtracted from each other. That is why it consists of the two terms and it is a binomial. Okay, now the another thing then we can just discuss here is the is a very easy thing. It is like coefficient determine. So what we have to do is, for example, we are taking something like 5x square plus 3x minus 9. Okay, so this is the equation. So in this case of this expression, the question is find out the coefficient of x square. Okay, so what you have to do in this case, the constant present for at the x squared's place. For example, in this particular expression, the x square has a constant called 5. So the constant which is present above the x square, that will be known as the coefficient, as I have already showed you in one of my flow chart that what is coefficient, what is terms. So this is a coefficient. So in this case, the coefficient of x square will be 5. If the question is given like find out the coefficient of x, then we know that coefficient of x is 3. This is the coefficient of x. Now if we are given in the question that find out the coefficient of x cube, then in this particular equation, as you can see, there is no x cube. That is why the coefficient of x cube in this particular equation is 0, because no x cube is present in this particular equation. So these are the types of question you will witness in the polynomial part. It is very easy to witness this. Okay, so let's just solve these out, and in case of any problem, you people know that where you have to comment below. Okay, so the second will be the zeros of polynomial numericals. As we have already discussed the zeros of polynomial numerical, but let's just do it again so that it will be more clarified to you people and you'll get the basics very easily. Okay, so here is a question for us that we just have to find out whether this type of question we have already done in our examples. 2 and minus 2 are zeros of x plus 2. So what we have to do here is we just have to put 2 in the equation and find out the value. If the value is 0, then it is the 0 of polynomial. If the value is not 0, then it is not the 0 of polynomial. Like here we put the value of 2 and we'll find out that the expression's value come out to be 4. So no, 2 is not the 0 of polynomial. Then we'll put the value of x equal to minus 2. Then we'll get 0. It means yes, minus 2 is the 0 of the polynomial. So these are the types of the question you will witness in the zeros of polynomial. Okay, so you can also get the questions in which you have to just put the value of the x. Okay, so for example, there is the question that you just have to do is you just have to find out the value. Like the equation is given py equals to y square minus y plus 1. So you just have to find out the value of p2 and p1. So in this case what you have to do is put the y equal to 2 and y equal to 1. So first we have to put y is equal to 1. We'll get 1. In this case the value of p1 is 1. If we put y is equal to 2, then what we get is okay. So this is the answers. Then there is the another question. We also have to find out p0. We can also find out the p0. So we'll get 1 in that case too. Okay, so this is the type of the question. So the next question will be to find out the zeros of polynomial. That is the most important question, just to find out the zeros of polynomial, because in that case you just have to put the equation equal to 0. No? For example, the equation is 3x minus 2. How to find out the zero of polynomial? Just put the equation equal to 0, find out the value of x. X is equal to 2 by 3. It means 2 by 3 is zero of polynomial for this particular expression. Okay, this is the question. Now let's just get back to the remainder theorem. Let's just solve few questions of remainder theorem too. Okay, so what about the remainder theorem now? There is an example given here, it is a complicated one, but the division is not a complicated thing, as you all know. I have already told you how to divide. So this is the dividend and this is the divisor. What you have to do is divide this first term by this term. We'll get 3x cube and multiply the subsequent terms, opposite signs. We'll get minus x cube minus, just take care of the signs in the case of long division method. Many people they do the mistake with the signs, no? So just take care of the sign, where you have to put negative, where you have to put positive. Just have a look on them. Okay, so it will be like minus x square minus 3x minus 1. Okay, then again divide this. Change the signs. We'll get minus 4x minus 1. Again minus 4. Minus 4x plus 4. What we'll get is minus 5. So this is the remainder for this division, where this is the quotient, this is the qx, this is the rx, that is the remainder, this is the divisor, and this is the dividend. Okay, let's just have an example of the remainder theorem too, how to solve the questions without expressing a proper without carrying out the proper long division. Let's just take the example of that too. So first of all we have to check whether 7 plus 3x is factor of 3x cube plus 7x. Okay, let's just check out this. So basically what we have to do is, if it is a factor of this, put this equation equal to 0, because this is a divisor, put this equal to 0, take out, get the value of x. Value of x came out to be minus 7 by 3. Now let's put the value of x in this particular dividend. So we'll get 3 multiplied minus 7 by 3 whole cube plus 7 into minus 7 by 3. So what we'll get here is 3. 7 multiplied by 7 is 49, multiplied by 7 is 343. Okay, You just have to know the cubes and all. So it is minus 343 multiplied by 333 is 27 plus minus 49 by 3. So we already know that this equation can't be, this is not equal to 0, hence no. 7 plus 3x, no factor. It is not the factor of 3x cube plus 7x. So this is whole for the today's class.